Hey guys, and by guys I mean guys and gals, of course, men and women, boys and girls. Welcome. And the reason I'm here tonight is to discuss collecting and collections. Um, and I'm a pretty good candidate, I guess, to talk about this. For as long as I can remember, I had some sort of a collection. When I was very young and really had no money of my own, I'm talking about elementary school, middle school. I didn't have a job, basically. My allowance was a pittance. The first thing I ever collected was rocks. I would go to an area where they had a lot of construction. They were basically tearing down a section of I guess a hill. I would say a mountain, but it wasn't that big. And basically blasting it and then leveling part of it after they kind of went up the hill to build houses. Well, they had stalled on the construction for whatever reason. It was kind of left that way, with some rocks surfaced and some stuff dug up, and some areas flattened and a semi-road dirt path basically put up through this area. I don't know if they ran out of money or what happened, but when I was a kid, that's the way it was. It's since been developed. Anyway, we could go up there and find these rocks, and they were pretty cool. We'd find quartz, and we'd find limestone and granite, and there's a lot of kind of cool rocks. Sometimes you had to, they were covered in dirt, so sometimes you had to know what you were looking for on the outside. We would take my friend lived in the area, so we would take like a pickaxe and pick away some of it. He had a sledgehammer. We'd open these big rocks and find what was inside of them. When you opened them up and saw inside, they'd have cool, layers. We found all sorts of stuff. We found mica at one point in one of the rocks. So it's a rock. It's layers of black, almost looks like lava or something that was or ice, black ice maybe. Um, anyway, I collected these rocks. There was a kid in the neighborhood that collected them too, which was good because we fed off each other. So one of the things I want to say about collections and collectors, they feed off each other, and the quest for the next piece of granite or quartz or mica or anything, or fool's gold for that matter, which I found. Uh, Part of it was I can't wait to tell, this guy's name was Glenn. I can't wait to tell Glenn about what I found. Or if we went there together, I can't wait to tell Glenn show Glenn what I have right here. And the excitement went two ways. He was excited to see what he had too. Um, so it was cool. And it remains today. Collectors find other collectors, with the idea being to, as Sam Faligar says on YouTube, to showcase or show off or show and tell, call it what you will, their items. And kind of like show and tell when you were a kid too, you brought in something you were proud of. Maybe it was for girls, maybe it was or for guys, I guess. Maybe it was a figurine, a GI Joe, or a Barbie doll, or maybe it was a piece of jewelry, or maybe it was something that belonged to their grandfather or grandmother. But it was something that was now theirs, and maybe they didn't collect it, but they had pride in it for whatever reason. Many reasons usually. So, moving along from that to the next thing is the comic book, which I'm going to say is second to a board game. The best thing I found to collect would be a comic book, and I'll tell you why. For many people, collections, be it stamps, coins, comic books, board games, Blu-rays and DVDs, which I've also collected, books. People have libraries, shelves and shelves of books, and I have some of that too. Yeah, I guess those are the big items. Artwork. Part of the joy of collecting is to be able to go through the collection, show it off maybe, but actually physically touch it, view it, hold it. In the case of something, smell it, It depends on the smell that it has. Board games, to me, especially when they're new, have a certain fresh smell that I enjoy. Um, so, and important they come from a non-smoking home, mine anyway, because I don't want the smell of the cigarette or pipe or whatever to get on the stuff. So it's important to me that the games I have don't smell like that. I have one that does. I got it from actually it wasn't a board game, it was a Blu-ray or DVD that I got from somebody. I've since put dryer sheets in it to try to get rid of it. But going back to comic books, when I was a child, this is probably now somewhere around the middle school years, I guess. It might have been elementary school years too. I don't know for sure, but for many years I collected comic books. In fact, I still have a whole bunch of comic books. Unfortunately, we had a basement flood, and I lost. Oh God, I don't know, a lot, hundreds of comic books, which is sad. Some of them got moldy. I have to check and see. I got them out of the area, but I want to make sure that none of them are moldy. But yeah, it was terrible that they had that happen. Just really a sad day because I'd had them for years. I sold a lot of them. The ones that were worth any money I sold years earlier. Oh, I'm leaving out something. Baseball cards. There's something about baseball cards and comic books that, as a kid, that collecting them. It wasn't. Now you could collect baseball cards and comic books, and a lot of people do it for the money. I never did. But people who do it today know that they're going to be worth something someday, or could be. I didn't do it for that. I did it because I loved comic books. I collected both Marvel and DC. Mainly Marvel. The DCs were Superman and Batman, and mainly Batman. But then I sort of lost interest in the DCs. I don't know when. Probably in the 60s or 70s. Late 60s, early 70s. Again, when I was a kid. They just, I don't know, the plots weren't as good. So why do people collect then? I spent 7 minutes babbling on here. I think they collect to show things off, to have a sense of possession. So when I look at a game like this, and I'm going to get into why I think board games are the best thing to collect. When I look at a game like this, the first thing that jumps out at me is look at this artwork on this. Beautiful artwork on this cover, illustrating 6 different figures that are actually in this box. And then this guy who's, I guess, kind of the overseer of the tournament that essentially goes on when these guys fight. But you can see now the components that come with it. Dice for every one of the characters, special cards for one of the characters, a map for every one of the characters that shows off what their abilities are. This is Pyromancer up here. This whole thing is a mat that goes with it. Some special tokens that each person gets, and some of them are unique. So here's the contents right here. What's the different components that are in this, and then basically how to play. 5 easy steps. So lovely box because it'll tell you everything you need to know about it. Here's the stuff that's in it. Here's basically how you play the game in 5 steps. It's not quite that easy. But then you open this up, and one other thing. Some games like this have distinguished themselves. This is the Champion Edition. It's basically the same as the retail edition. The only difference is the dice are different. The dice are a little bit better. And so, what do you think people want? They want the better dice. It's like when Blu-rays or DVDs come out and people want the Steelbook or the special edition from Target or Best Buy or wherever that has something that's different. It's collectible. Here's the rules of play for this. And again, these are nice booklets with some really nice artwork in it usually that explains to you how to play the game, what the components are that are in it, and so on. So it really gives you something to look at. And then this one has a glossary on the back that tells you different terms and so on and so forth about the game. It's kind of cool. I bet you get these nice cardboard, pretty thick boards to play, and then they have a cool artwork on the back. This is Moon Elf, and then Moon Elf will have her own set of stuff. She will have something like this, the card that talks about some of the powers she's got. These are actually some of the special tokens that she has. There'll be in a bag in here for her. And then each one of the characters, I shouldn't say a bag, has something like this, a little tray. This is hers. Comes with the dice. You can see the dice are kind of like funky looking. They have like a whitish and a bluish mix, like marbleized, I guess, dice versus straight blue. So they're kind of cool looking. Rough little. They have little components like this, which are cool. And the whole idea behind this stuff is that people want to have something to look at. At least me, the collector, does. Unfortunately, some of the tokens just got moved out of here, which is not good. I'll have to fix that. Probably when I stood it up, which I shouldn't have done. This one should lay flat. I thought I could stand it up, but it's not meant to stand up. I'll fix that and put everything back where it goes. But for right now, I'll just put it back like this. So really cool game. And I think going through, and I said to my wife tonight, sometimes even if you don't like, she said it first, and I agreed. She said, you know what? Even if you don't play these games, you like just having them, opening them sometimes, and going through the components of them. So you know what, honey, you're right. That's a big part of it. A big part of enjoying this game for me is being able to go through the components, open the box up, look at it. And I haven't played this yet. I actually have played somebody else's copy, and that's why I bought it. But a lot of times I haven't played the game yet, but I still want the game. It may or may not make sense to you, but it does to me. Oh, let's see here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so what I have here. Some things you can stand up, and some things you really shouldn't stand up. Yeah, I'll have to figure this thing out. This is going to go in here, though, I think. If it fits, it should fit. I'm going to stand it up because I don't think it's one that, I'm going to lay it flat. I don't think it's one that should stand up. This one probably isn't either, as I recall. Is this one going to safely stand up? I mean, I could see. Oh, no. No. This is a zombie game. There's probably 300 zombies in here, and there's no board, so there's nothing to hold them from falling over. Let's see what we got here. Let me show you a couple games here's one called Run, Fight, or Die. This is the big box version. What that means is they came out with an original set for this, and it was popular. And so what happened was they created expansions, extra pieces to the game that would add to it, where they added new characters, more zombies with different abilities, and that's what they did do that. New sets of rules. So the original rules, which are here, and then this one's not that big. There's the original set of rules. And they had all these expansions that came out. Here's one. This one is expansion number 3, which made a cooperative game. So we just have some simple rules for cooperative. Some extra cards came with it. Here's one that, and the Horde has had hundreds of extra, about 45 extra zombies, in addition to the probably 100 that we're going to start with. I said hundreds, there's probably 115 here. This one had 4 new characters that you could play as right here, along with some other cards and so on. So I have 3 extra expansions with this game. So they came out with a big box, a bigger box than what normally came with. So you could fit all this stuff, which I thought was pretty cool. Another game that needs to be flat, so I'm going to put that in there flat as well. And here's a game. This is an older game called A Touch of Evil. This one I think I'm going to stand up. So I think I can get away with that with this one. The components that are in here are pretty well, I think. We can make sure I'm right. The components of this are ones that can stand up. You got cards. But yeah, I think for the most part I can stand it up. It's not going to go anywhere, I don't think. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, everything's kind of locked in place here. There's a board that locks some things in so that it can't go anywhere. I like that. Yeah, this one's going to be standing up. This is called A Touch of Evil, and you're basically hunting vampires, werewolves, and other kind of creatures. You try to explore the town and get rid of them. This uses live actors as the characters. Some people don't like that; they like the artwork, but so they take pictures of these various actors that they found. There's some advantages to that too, though. They can go to a certain place, certain setting, put these actors in it, and it's like watching a horror movie. And then it's Halloween time. I'll show this too. And this is the Something Wicked expansion. And again, these are live actors for the most part that participate in this. Yeah. So pretty cool. These two are going to stand out. I'll get this right. So let me set these down accordingly. So I think that's why people collect. I mean, I think part of it is showing off. Part of it is finding like-minded people who also collect, because there's something to be said for that. For finding those like-minded people and sharing things. And then a game like Tapestry, which I did a video on the other day. This one was a pre-order, and I don't know what the so the pre-order, I think it's going to be exactly like the retail version. The only difference is at the very bottom of this game right here, it tells you that out of 25,000 that were made, I have number 20,000 something or other. I can't read it backwards here. 20,645. I was kind of late ordering it. They had 3 days you could order. I ordered it late on the second day. I think most people wanted this game, knew it was coming out, and ordered it early on. Pretty cool game, though. The artwork is gorgeous. Have not played it yet. And this is the game I was looking through tonight when my wife said, "You haven't played it yet, have you?" And I said, "No." She said, "Maybe I'll play with you tomorrow." I said, "Well, I don't know if it's your kind of game. Some of these are and some of these aren't. These would not be. I can tell you right now. But some others might be." And so I look forward to anything she's willing to play. I'm willing to play with her for sure. Let's see what fits in here. Oh, perfect. Yeah, these games fit. I have a case. I'm putting them all in here. I think I'm going to be able to put all of them in, which is really nice. Yeah, it should be good. Squeeze all these in here. Like this one. Here's another game. This game I bought for... This is the other thing about collecting, and I haven't mentioned it yet, but let's talk about it. The other thing about collecting is that... I'm sorry I'm rambling, but... these days with videos, that's basically what I'm doing. I stopped making high-tech videos that I edited and cut out things, and if you don't want the rambling type, that's okay. You don't have to watch this. Or fast forward till you find something that looks interesting. One of the things that I got here, though, recently, somebody on Facebook, my local area, semi-local, I'll get to that in a minute, was selling board games. I always check for board games. And they had board games, and it said 2 for, what was it? 2 for 20. Yeah, 2 for 20. And I wasn't sure what exactly she meant, but what she had was she had sets of, in this case, this game it's out of print, I believe, called Cuba, or Cuba. I really like the artwork on this, by the way. This is pre-Castro, back when so back in the 40s probably would be a good time frame. Maybe I don't know where this car is, but somewhere in the 40s, maybe 50s. I can't remember how long Castro's been in power. Certainly for a while. This is pre-Castro, and the set. Pardon me, I don't like the way this is. I like it like this. Well, that's the other thing. The box has to be where I have the front here. I can turn it like that and have the back. Look at the beautiful map in this. Map of part of Cuba, probably Havana. Part of what I got these two and this expansion called El Presidente. Looks very similar to the first one. For $20, $10 a piece. And now, if you can look this up on Amazon, the Cuba, it's like $150 or something. Maybe it's even $165 for this. And this expansion sells for like $65 or something. And the weird thing about the expansion, I can put the expansion, and I will, into the regular set, because all it is this little map, which is a little cardboard thing that will easily fit in the other box. This small little rules booklet, a cool little car that kind of matches the car on the front. A tiny deck of cards here, an even smaller deck of cards here, and then some punch boards of about 5 or 6 things on a punch board. That's it for the whole. That's it. So $60 for that seems like a lot of money, but that's what it goes for. I will keep this box, this El Presidente box, in case I want to sell it separately at some point. I'll try the game, and if I don't like it or I don't think people will play it, I will sell it. But you can see that it's in pristine condition. The box looks brand new. These cards are still shrink wrapped, so they were never used. Anyway, so I will likely sell it if I don't play it. Like I said, if I don't think I'm going to play it much. Or just play it for a while and then sell it. I paid $10 for the expansion, $10 for the game itself. The game itself has a lot more in it. But the game itself has all sorts of boards and maps and things, and just a ton more in here. A lot of pieces that go with the game. Expansion, not so much. But this has got a lot of stuff in it. So I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah. Put it back in this way. That's Cuba. The reason I wanted to show it to you is because the part of the deal is the hunt. Hunting for, the right products. Hunting for the right games. Getting good deals on them, like I used to do with comic books or baseball cards when I collected those. Or rocks were really free for the most part. I eventually did buy some, but for the most part I got them free. DVDs and Blu-rays. I'd go out and try to find them in dollar stores, or you try to find something that was a bargain, although Blu-rays and DVDs and movies and things, there weren't that many bargains per se. It's not like you're going to find something that was worth $500 for $5 somewhere. They're not worth that much. But they might be worth $50 and you found it for $5. That could happen. With board games, I mentioned the one is 100 and something. This one sold for 100 that I bought. 99. I think I got it for 79. I can't remember now, but I got it some sort of a deal on it. But if this goes out of print, and it may, it might be worth quite a bit more. If it's just hard to find for a while, and it may be. The pre-orders are out now. I think it's selling on eBay for over 100 because you can't find it yet. So there's that searching, finding. Then there's a whole beauty of you get this thing, it's shrink wrapped. You paid $50 for it, or $20, whatever you paid for it. And then you unwrap it, and the smell from the box, the brand new box, it's like a new car in a way. And looking at the rules, looking at the components, and imagining playing it. There's something to all of this. Then reading the rules and learning the game, kind of mentally playing it out, how it would go. Then there's the actual playing of the game, whether you play your copy or somebody else's. There's the playing of the game, and the first time you play it and enjoy it, now you're imagining who else could you play it with? Who can I teach it to? Who can I show this to that would enjoy it as much as I do? Really cool stuff. Each one of the things about board games, to me, is another pleasant experience. Opening it, finding it, ordering it, opening it, learning it, playing it, teaching it, and then having the memories of playing the game. That's a big part of it. I think the memories of playing the game are, is important. And I treat it like that. I tell my boys, or even my family, I don't play to win necessarily, at least not the first couple times. I play to teach. I play to have other people have a good time. I want them to enjoy it. I get frustrated when they don't listen to the rules, when they ask me, and they say, "You didn't tell me that." But I don't get mad. I just get frustrated, wishing that they listened. But they're boys, and they'd rather be on their phones a lot of times. But they do put down their phones long enough to play something like this. So I'm looking forward to playing this and these other games. I probably have a couple hundred games, maybe more. And I'm not counting Monopoly and Sorry and something here where there were little chutes and ladders and all that. I'm not counting those. Risk. I'm not counting any of those games. I'm counting games like you see here. Newer games, the last 20 years or something. This one came out just this year. And there's a lot of enjoyment to be had with them. So that's why I collect, and I think that's why people collect. It's owning it, touch it and feel it, look at it, and look at the back and all the pretty components that are with it. These are all painted, by the way. They come with it, 18 different buildings that are painted and come with the game. Just look at how it looks on the table, and liking that, liking the concept of it, all that. You see those components over here. Tons of stuff come with it. Take a look at that. But that's what drives me. That's what gives me pleasure, is being able to have those games, being able to touch them, feel them, smell them, whatever. You can't do that as much with other things. Comic books are about the closest thing, I think. Maybe baseball cards are a second. Baseball cards, one card. I mean, you can flip through a whole bunch of them, but basically it's one card at a time. With this, every one of these games is a little different. Every one of them have different rules. The boards are much different. They play differently. There's a different learning curve with all of them. Some of them are fairly easy to learn. Some of them are more difficult. Some of them have very heavy themes, like the chasing the vampire and things. The whole thing is very, very cinematic, very theme-oriented. Whereas some are more, it's the process of the game, or the things you have to do in the game, the system that you have to follow, that is really what you're looking at, not so much the theme of the game. Both are enjoyable to me. Anyway, Tapestry falls in the second category. It's not strong thematically. Basically, you're a civilization. You're trying to gain points by gaining some things along the way. Anyway, that's my video. Hope it makes some sense to folks. I'm going to keep it fairly short, but I've wandered off topic quite a bit here, and I apologize for that. Or at least I wandered into different categories, let's put it that way. But I hope you get a sense of why I think board games are one of the best things to collect. And I can have a shelf full of these things. They look good on a wall. They take up a lot of room. Yeah, that's the problem with them. But I can make room, and the older I get, and the more space that I have in my home, I can have a room that just has them on the walls, and that'd probably be okay. Maybe the basement eventually. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's cool, and it's something that you can pass down. Somebody might like this game down the road. Hopefully. Well, that's it. Why do you collect board games? Do you just play them? Or are you more like me, where you get one and it'll sit on the shelf, maybe even unopened, for a while, until you find the right person to play it? But you still want it, and you still look at it. You may even read the rules on how to play it and not play it yet. And that's probably going to be the case with this Tapestry for a little bit. Unless I play tomorrow, which is a possibility. All right, guys, take care. It's really late. Good enough. I'm tired.